Happy Wednesday, UnWoke Nation, and I want to welcome you to episode 58 of the UnWoke Show, where free speech is welcome, all subjects are on the table, and your boys Rich and Tim bring you the latest, greatest information every single week for your enjoyment, baby. I am your host, Rich, along here with Tim. How you doing, Timmy?
Good, and you, man?
Doing great, man, doing great. Hey, guys, we love last week. Awesome response that we had about the Harrison Buckner commencement speech and everything. So we love you guys. We definitely want to continue that going, guys. We want to make this global. We want to make this, well, actually, it already is global.
We are, yes.
But, you know, we want to make sure the UnWoke Nation gets even bigger every single week that we are on for a show. And you know how you can help out? You can listen to Tim, and Tim can tell you why.
Yeah, you can find us on all the major podcasting platforms, right? We're on Spotify, Google, Apple, Amazon, wherever you're getting your podcasts. Just do a search for us. You're going to find the UnWoke Show out there. There's a lot of great content out there to listen to. And tonight, guys, we're going to kick things off with white Louisiana residents.
Oh, there's a new one.
Yeah.
Ready, go!
So you're probably saying, what you talking about, Willis, on this one? Well, yeah, exactly, right? So it's been in the news. And so the headline, and this is right from the New York Post: wealthy white Louisiana residents win right to split from Baton Rouge and form their own city.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So a group of wealthy white Baton Rouge residents have won a decades-long battle to split from the majority black city to form their own suburb, following a state Supreme Court ruling. So that new suburb is going to be called St. George.
Okay.
This went all the way to the Louisiana Supreme Court. Okay, this was highly contested and challenged. And the ultimate culmination is of citizens exercising their constitutional rights. We voted and we won, according to Andrew Murrell, one of the leaders of the St. George campaign, said in a statement following victory. So the article goes on to say that now we began the process of delivering on our promises of a better city. We welcome both our friends and foes to the table to create St. George. And so what got this really all started was East Baton Rouge, and Baton Rouge as a whole, from an educational perspective, had been underperforming. And so the thought of St. George initially was, we're just going to create a new school district, one aimed at, improved education, higher performing students, right?
Okay.
Well, that didn't work. And it failed. So this was in 2015. It failed to garner enough votes, right? So the initiative failed. The group that formed the initiative was told they might have a better chance if they incorporated as their own city.
Huh.
So, in 2019, the initiative won the election before it was stalled by a lengthy court battle. Okay. Sharon Weston Broom, the mayor-president leading the combined Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge parish governments, had sued the St. George organizers, arguing that the split would siphon more than $48 million in annual tax revenue from the local government. Okay, yeah, exactly. The opposition also argued that St. George would not have the proper budget to operate on its own. Okay, so those were the arguments at the time, right? One of the justices for the Louisiana Supreme Court disagreed with the city's assessment and claimed that a thriving St. George could even become an asset to the declining Baton Rouge.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
The NCAACP, however, maintained its fears that the formation of St. George will negatively impact Baton Rouge majority black community.
How?
Siphoning off $48 million in tax revenue.
I'm just going to let you answer the question that is in my head right now. Because that dog don't hunt.
No, it does not. The fact that Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge, which 90% of that area is predominantly a black community that is struggling from an educational system, or from an education perspective, but also from an unemployment and poverty, which most of Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge fall under, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the NAACP go on to say that the St. George plan poses significant risk to our education system, threatens the continuity of critical programs, and challenges community representation. The creation of a new municipality introduces considerable uncertainty around funding allocation for schools, jeopardizing the cornerstone of our community's future.
Let me make sure I'm hearing this right. You're trying to tell me that you have a situation where community members who apparently seem to be affluent decided they actually want to make their own town.
Mm-hmm.
The local government has basically stated that by doing so, it will actually be detrimental towards the current town, which they say is a problem because it actually could hurt them and actually make them take away $48 million worth of tax revenue. Is this correct?
So far, yes.
Okay. Now, they are more specifically concerned in regards to how the school system is going to go, right?
Yes. And to that effect, it's not just the tax revenue. Remember, Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge is getting money for each student that goes to school.
Okay. So the kids are basically already being funded, correct?
Correct.
And we're concerned about a school system that sounds like it's failing, correct? And they're concerned about a group of affluent people who have decided to do something, and they want to be concerned about $48 million that could be taken away from the kids in a school system that's already failing. How the fuck does that make sense?
Well, when your frustrations are built on schools, crime, infrastructure, and the resources devoted to that part of the parish.
Okay, let's get back to the one key thing you just got done saying. That part devoted to the parish. Okay, you already have the $48 million. Where's that devotion? Can somebody explain that?
What are you as... Well, let's take it one step further, right? Crime.
Okay.
What is Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge doing to combat crime? What is the two governments doing to combat poverty? Where is the 48? Where is the millions in tax revenue that you're getting going?
Yes.
And again, we're talking about tax revenue money only. We're not talking about the millions that the combined parish gets in educational funding from the federal government.
Right.
So in reality, Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge, they created this problem.
Yes.
They're the ones responsible for a group of affluent, okay, and they happen to be white.
Okay. All right.
Right. So a group of affluent white people in a predominantly black community that can only be seen as racist. Right?
Of course.
Right.
How dare you take your resources somewhere else?
What do you mean? Take our white money someplace else?
Well, shit. What were you thinking?
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so the total size of St. George is roughly 60 square miles and is going to have about 86,000 people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Versus the 85 square miles they were originally asking for and the 107,000 residents that would have formed the new city. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they've already whittled it down. Right?
Tim the numbers guy.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Jeez.
So the path to incorporation of St. George resembled in many ways the one taken by the last city formed in Louisiana, just on a larger scale, the city of Central, which is also in East Baton Rouge Parish and has nearly 30,000 people and was established in 2005 after failed attempts to start a new school district. Are you seeing a theme here?
I'm starting to see one. I don't need glasses for that one.
Exactly. Education. Okay.
Oh boy.
Yeah, education. Okay. You've had two other examples in this case of we're just talking about education.
Right.
Why is East Baton Rouge and Baton Rouge educational system a shit show?
Right.
Is it a teacher problem? A student problem? A money problem? Oh, it couldn't be a money problem, could it?
You mean how to allocate finances in a way that might be beneficial towards their constituents?
To the school board?
Teachers union?
Yeah. What is being done to improve the underperforming school district?
That already has the $48 million that they're complaining about.
They're going to lose. And again, that was just in tax revenue. Okay.
Gosh, I'm sorry, UnWoke Nation. You have to forgive me. I am allergic to stupid. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So, again, it's racist to think for white people, white affluent people, in a predominantly black community to want their kids to go to a school district that actually performs. Education and race. That seems to be a common characteristic in today.
It really is. Okay. Let's just go ahead and just take race out of it. Let's just talk about
You serious?
What?
Take race out of it. Are you kidding?
Okay, yeah, I know. I'm looking over the edge here. I understand that, but I'm just saying. Okay, I want you to bear with me, and I'm going to use this thing. I'm going to use this thing where so that might not be very common. So just bear with me here. It's called
Ready, go!
common sense.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Here we go. So, my question is this: what parent who, given the opportunity, would not want to give their children, with their resources, the best opportunity to have proper education, safety, housing, the like? Black, white, or indifferent? Who wouldn't want that? I don't get it. So when you're having a group of individuals, again, like I said, doesn't matter what color, like that, but in this particular case, they happen to be white. The fact that they want to be able to say, hey, you know what? We don't like how the school systems are. We don't have, we don't like how things are going. Maybe it's crime rates, whatever like that. I think you might have read that. I'm not sure. But dealing with those situations. So we've decided, because we just happen to have the resources to be able to do so.
Yep.
We want to create St. George so that our kids have a better. Well, no, you can't do that because that's going to take revenue from us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how much you talking about? Well, we're doing about $48 million worth that we can't get. And what about the children?
Exactly. So if you go to stgeorgelouisiana.com, click on schools, it describes what they will be looking to create from an educational perspective. And there's one part in the second paragraph that sticks out the most to me. We believe parents, not school administrators or politicians, should have the choice in their children's education.
Let me see. So they're upset. So they're upset where they can't control this, and their parents actually say, hey, we want to be able to have a say-so?
So Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge, just by that statement, we believe parents, not school administrators or politicians.
Okay.
So school administrators and politicians are the reason that Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge public schools are underperforming. Where have we heard that before?
Wow. How much time we got on the show?
Well, yeah.
We're going to be here a while.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be here for a while if we start naming off Florida stuff. I mean, anyway, right? All the Karens down there, but, I digress. So this group took action. They want better for their children.
Absolutely.
They don't want the politics and the bullshit to go along with that, right? I can't argue with that, where parents have more control over what is being taught to their children, right? So there is a...
By the way, that didn't work in Virginia.
No, it did not work in Virginia at all. So if you go to the stgeorgelouisiana.com website, you can actually find statistical information about Baton Rouge itself and probably what has driven to the formation of St. George, right? Homicide rates from 2003 to 2018. Okay. In 2017, they had 106 homicides.
Damn.
Now, it dropped in 2018
to
87. Okay.
All right.
So, homicide.
Yeah.
The second reason, how many new taxes do you think were introduced since 2003?
Oh, since 2003, new taxes in
introduced.
Dollars?
No. New taxes introduced to Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge.
Well, I'm probably sure a lot.
Yeah. How about 24?
24?
Yep. How about civil juror compensation, criminal juror compensation, city court judicial building, council on aging, city court sobriety court, city court technology, district count off-duty officer witness, third Florida economic development, Capitol House economic development.
This is where all this money's going.
Parish transport beautification,
Okay. That's got
civil jury compensation, and the list goes on.
but they're concerned about losing tax revenue. That's basically what we're hearing here.
And this is directly from their own analysis, going back to 2017. Not a list you want to be on. Baton Rouge ranks in top 5 over-leveraged U.S. cities.
Top 5? That's in the nation.
Yep.
Over-leveraged cities. Okay, so let's pull a Jim Pasaki and circle back here. So you're trying to tell me that they're ridiculously spending these money on these asinine like positions, but get a bunch of rich white people to decide, hey, we see the homicide rates, we see all this stuff going on. We don't want our kids to be in a bad situation. We have the resources, we're going to leave. And yet they're worried about losing money.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that the statistic states they are the top 5 out of millions and millions of towns in the United States of America. They're one of the top 5. Oh, really? That makes it, if you are in the top 5, you are definitely making hella cheese, son.
Yep.
You making hella bank, and you gonna sit there and complain about the French toast out of here with that.
Yeah. So, according to the business report of Greater Baton Rouge, and this is from a 2019 article, Baton Rouge number 2 for underfunded pension liabilities.
Oh man.
As of 2016, over 50% of Baton Rouge revenues were obligated to pay for pensions, but the city parish only paid roughly half of what was due.
Where the other half go?
Are you seeing a theme here?
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just this stuff is just ridiculous. It basically what it looks like you said, these politicians and whatever it might be, they're just going out there and for whatever it's like, it's like they want to take the money that they have, they want to put a nice little bow on it that sounds like a really nice name or title,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to pocket it themselves.
Yep.
And then sit there and say, but we want money for the children.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, based on what Tim has just written, this has nothing to do with kids.
Nope.
Has nothing to do with kids at all. And in fact, what it should be done is actually what you're doing to clean up your own community. And you don't want to do that.
So, just to provide, I would say, some clarity here on why white, affluent individuals wanted a better situation for their children. Okay. I'm going to read you the 2030 forecast for the East Baton Rouge Parish.
Okay.
Okay. First bullet point, less residents.
Okay.
Residents falls from 440K to 416 to 428K. Okay.
Okay.
So you got a population decline.
Right.
Bullet point number 2, more school closures. 4 schools have closed since 2016.
Okay. And I'm going to assume they're the ones that are probably the underperforming ones. Am I correct by that?
Well, I mean, you can make that assumption, sure. It just makes the point that since 2016, they have closed 4 schools. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And the third point, more tax increases.
I can see that coming.
They're projecting a greater than 24% tax increase from 2018 on.
And does it show what the unemployment rate is in that town?
It does, and I'd have to actually look that up to figure out what the unemployment.
But you see where I'm going with this. The question I'm at is like, you guys are going to be raising taxes like that because you're losing this supposed revenue because of St. George, but now you're going to go out there and raise taxes to basically make up the difference in an area that's got a crime problem. And obviously, if we knew what the unemployment rate and stuff like that, it's going to be quite difficult trying to get those type of taxes to make up whatever they feel that they're going to be missing in, say, property taxes or whatever the case may be. Like that just doesn't make any sense.
I don't disagree with you at all.
It's like somebody sitting there saying, like, okay, we got 100 people. We realize that only 3 people in this entire town of 100, so make the most money. So we're only going to just tax them. That'll cover it, right?
Yeah. Allegedly.
Oh, jeez. No. I mean, it's like what you're saying, Tim. What this is this is a mismanagement of the funds that they have so they can go line their own pockets, whatever the case may be. This has nothing to do with the kids. I don't know what they thought, whatever that the people who are now part of this, what we say, 216,000 now. I don't know what they're thinking that they were losing. But obviously, if it was important to you, you would have fixed it prior to them actually getting in front of the state Supreme Court saying, yeah, we want to kind of make a change and create our own town within this parish.
Yeah.
I mean,
but yet, Rich, it goes back to white, affluent, racist people who want better for their kids.
So my question is this. Let's just flip the script. If this, quote, affluent neighborhood was black, would this be a national news story?
No.
Okay. Kind of very common, like, when a lot of situations happen in this country.
Yep.
We have crimes that happen.
Yep.
But it makes national news only if it's against certain minority, wherever the case may be. I know it's kind of going off subject, but you get my point. Just like we had last week, and also we're talking about with, certain crimes or whatever. So that, so just like last week.
Yep.
So the fact that you have a group of people who want to be able to make a better situation for their kids, they're now considered racist.
Well, so to answer that question, yes, they're considered racist. They're, the city of St. George that wants to break away from the bureaucracy, 2, the mismanagement of funds, 3, underperforming schools. Why would you want to stay around for anybody? Right?
Why? I mean, why would you? If you have 2 parents who have been working their butts off to put themselves in a better situation, why wouldn't you want to make sure that your kids have a better life than maybe you did? Well, I'm sorry, little Johnny, we can't leave East Baton Rouge in there like that because we don't want to be considered racist. So yes, I understand the word that you have the 2 or 3 kids where they try to beat you up before you get to the bus stop, and you have to run away from them like you're darn fucking Forrest Gump.
Right.
But because we don't want to be called racist, and yes, we do have the resources to be able to send you to some private school and like that, we're just going to stay right here and make sure though that anybody who decides they want to stick you with the weapon of their preference are going to be fine.
Yes. And white people wanting better for themselves is inherently racist.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're just making this shit up as we go along.
Yeah.
In society is pretty much what it is.
Exactly.
We keep coming up with new libtard jargon, more word salad shit, all this different stuff, and they just want people to take. Yeah. We realize that, like you said, Tim, is like that the town's a shit show. But we want you to deal with it.
We want your wealthy, affluent families. And while the article calls out wealthy white. I wouldn't be surprised if there aren't some affluent black families
I'm sure there are
that want the same thing, right?
Right.
But for, I don't know, for what? Call it shock value or something, we got to throw white out there.
Right. Exactly.
Right. So we've got to somehow try and offend the black community. Right.
Yep.
But nobody wants to talk about mismanagement.
Nope. Not at all. I mean, you clearly stated based on the facts that they have the revenue that they're complaining about. And they want to sit there and they want to pull out the old little yellow, the little violin and saying like, oh, but it's all about the kids and they're going to be missing out and stuff like that. You have the revenue that's in question. And all this time, you've had homicides go up. The schools aren't very good. You've had 4 schools close.
Yep.
In the midst of all this time. And you're pissed off.
And the projected budget for 2030 is going to be a 24%, greater than 24% increase in taxes? Really?
Yeah, that's going to work.
Yeah.
That's not going to work at all.
No.
It's like, so, I mean, this is absolute bullcrap. I don't blame the people of St. George. Whether it's all white or some black, because I'm sure there's probably some minorities in that group that moved to St. George too.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so it's like, yeah, they've done it. I can't blame them. I would want to do the same thing. It's like, you know, no father, no husband, wife who has children is not going to do their best to make sure that their children get the best education, have the best opportunities. Okay? Racism has nothing to fucking do with this. Nothing.
Right.
It's just that it's such a big thing in society. That's all everybody wants to fucking talk about. I said this about 8 years ago, about 8 or 9 years ago. I happened to be talking to my mom, and I started to slowly see how you had the ultra left were going out there trying to use, you know, racism for this and racism for that. And I remember telling her right then, it was probably about 2015 or something like that. And I remember telling her right then, I said, Mom, the way that they're going right now, if they continue to do what they're doing, what I'm just starting to see, they're going to water down the word racism so much, it's not even going to matter anymore. It's not even going to matter. You get these kids like this, like, oh, that sounds racist. You know what? If you have some great-great-grandparents, especially if you're black, if you have some great-great-grandparents who are alive, sit down with them for about 2 hours. If they have enough comprehension to be able to explain what their lives were like when they were your age, you will know what fucking racism is. I know what it is to have a relative who grew up in the 1930s, who sat there, who grew up in high school like that. So when she was coming up in, like, say, in a major town, who had a teacher who was white that literally said in her science class, never forget this, who's told her in her science class, who was clearly racist, who sat there and said, I don't care how long you're going to sit there, I'm going to fail you.
Right.
All because she's black. She never went off to college. She broke her neck to make sure that her kids and her grandkids knew how important education was because she never got it.
Not surprised.
Exactly. So when I'm hearing all these kids where they want to toss out, oh, well, you're just saying, you know, oh, you don't like my shoes, or you're just saying that because I'm black. They're just so easily ready to say some shit like that. And then on top of that, you get the parents that go out there. It's like that. I just hearing something recently talking about flipping music. Oh, we can't play music like that. Well, because you don't like that music and all that might be kind of racist. No. If you're in a beauty parlor that might be in a prestigious, wealthy area, and you're playing, I don't know, if you're playing like something that's got all these vulgar words, stuff like that, yeah, you'd want to make sure, based on your clientele, that you're playing music that's going to be considered appropriate for the profession that it's being, or the services that are being done, correct?
Yep.
Right. So why is it that everything's just got to be, it just boggles my mind just to constantly keep hearing this stuff, and it's like, shut the fuck up about it.
Oh, I agree.
Just shut the fuck up about it. It's like, not everything is racist and all. Tell you what, it's like, you know, put on your big pants.
Yep.
Put on your big boy pants. Put on your big boy skirt or your big girl skirt.
Yep.
You know, and stop complaining. It's like, what's wrong with you? It's like, I'm sorry. People are going to say bad shit to you. People say bad shit to me, even about my color.
Still do.
And still do, yeah. Exactly. There's people out there that don't know me, so they'll call me in a second. Okay, but I sit there and go home and cry and everything like that? Or it's like, no, I know it's like, no, there are ignorant people in this world.
Yes, very much so.
Ignorant, black, white, Hispanic, doesn't matter. There are ignorant people in this world. And we have to learn to deal with it. And more importantly, especially if you're a father or a mother, you have to teach your kids how to be able to deal with that. Because that's considered reality.
Yep.
All right? It's like, I'm sorry, newsflash, racism is not going anywhere. It's not.
No, it
okay?
never will.
It never will. So we're going to have to learn to deal with that. Instead of sitting up there doing this bullcrap that all of a sudden it's just going to melt away and all. It's never going to melt away. There will always be ignorant people who are going to sit there and judge you based on your pigmentation. It's going to happen.
Yep. And I'm going to leave it with UnWoke Nation on this point. If you have the ability to cut yourself from the cancer, wouldn't you?
Yep.
Exactly. And so with that, UnWoke Nation, it's always great talking to you guys. You can find us on all the major podcasts. Again, we're out there on Spotify, Amazon, Google, Apple, all the major podcasting platforms. Do a search for us. Listen in, like us. We want to hear from you. You can reach us at feedback@unwoketheshow.com. That is feedback@unwoketheshow.com. Rich, a pleasure as always, man. Look forward to speaking to you next week. And as always, guys, stay unwoke.
Stay unwoke, guys. See you next time.